Hey everyone, it's Moonkin FTW here with a new video, and I'm going to show you guys another Megapark I've made. I know, I thought I was pretty much done after my last video, and then I got the itch to make a few roller coaster designs again, just out of nowhere. And then I wanted to put them in a park, and before you knew it, I was downloading extra custom scenery and really starting to focus on making the best park I possibly could, and also make it kind of realistic, more realistic than the last park. And yeah, before I knew it, I was really getting into it. I was really enjoying it, and now we end up with this huge park. And I think this is probably the best park I've ever made in the entire game. It doesn't have any super insane designs because, again, I wanted to make this park kind of realistic. And you'll see many realistic roller coaster designs in this park if you're familiar with many of the real roller coasters that are available in real life. So without further ado, let's just go through it. I'll show you all the POVs of the ride. It might get a little laggy, but because unfortunately, RCT3 does not really handle parks, big parks that well with a lot of theming and a lot of rides and everything. Despite having, a very good computer, it just doesn't matter. The game itself isn't really built for it. But you know what? It is what it is. So let's start off with the entrance. Now, on my previous park, I didn't really do much with the entrance, and this time I really wanted to have something nice. And as we go through the park, you'll notice the very Dutch theming. I am from the Netherlands, so I felt I could relate to it, and it looked very nice. So you enter the park right here, and generally with most theme parks, you enter first kind of a general area with some nice buildings and a few shops. And I wanted to do the same thing here. I have some nice colonial buildings here, with a nice balcony here, lots of flowers, and you'll see that throughout the park as well. Now, initially I wanted to put some stalls into these buildings, but unfortunately it didn't really work out quite well. So they're just nice buildings to look at. It's a nice little, theming at the entrance of the park. And these, by the way, are custom paths, which I'm going to zoom out real quick. These paths allow me to make some really cool designs like this smooth corner here and this diagonal path here. The only downside is that the shadows from the rides and the guests don't appear. So it looks a little bit weird, but in terms of how it looks with the shape of the path, so to say, it is much better. So as we move a little bit forward, we encounter some flat rides. We have a merry-go-round, of course. It's required in every park. You just got to have it. And we have a spiral slide. And because this is a Dutch-oriented theme park, I have a lot of tulips with different colors here. So you'll see that throughout the park for people to look at. Gives it a nice little touch. And I think it looks awesome. So here in the middle, kind of like a quick gathering area, like a centerpiece of the park, if you will. Again, with a lot of foliage. I really like the foliage in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. You got these really nice bushes and flowers and trees and everything. You can make the park look really nice. And again, we have some tulip beds here, over here. And yeah, this is kind of the general gathering area for the park. And as you can see, it's quite busy. The park right now has about 1,300 guests, so there you go. We have a small food court over here. Nothing fancy, just some burgers, drinks, cookies, and information. And over here, once again, we have a nice tulip bed with a different colors, so that looks really cool. So there you go. Now, around the gathering area, there's a few more flat rides. We have an Alarion, I think it's called. We have a Ferris wheel, and we have the Dod Gems or Dod Gems, whatever they're called. Actually, let me just see. Oh yeah, okay. Just got to make sure it's all on full day because I haven't installed any lights yet. So in dark, it's very dark. There's no lights yet. So I'm keeping it on day. There you go. So how about we move to the right and we encounter our very first coaster. This is a junior coaster. It's called the Flying Bug. And yeah, I spent a good amount of time on this. I wanted, again, the layout to be kind of realistic. So nothing super crazy because it's supposed to be like a family coaster. And I started using more than just JCat Steelworks. I started using Moby Steel Jungle, which is another mod for Roller Coaster Tycoon, which allows you to make much more realistic and much better looking support. So I have the things here, the footers, so to say. You have these more intricate support structures with the diagonal beams and all that. So I think it looks really cool. I also got a custom station here, which is actually what I used to make when I was much younger, when I was 18. I'm 33 now, so imagine that. So, and it looks quite nice. You have some flower gardens here to kind of spice things up. And again, to make it look more realistic, there is a fence around the roller coaster. So, there's not like a possibility for guests to run off and go into the coaster area. It's not going to happen, but, That is the roller coaster. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the stats. So 532 excitement, 543 intensity, and 329 nausea rating. And I'm going to give you guys the POV. So I'm going to just stop this right here. I'm going to test, and I'm going to shut up so you guys can see the POV. And there you go, that was Flying Bug, the very first roller coaster. So let me open it up again for the guests. Alright, so where do we head next? Well, we're going to make a left here. I'm going to go to the second roller coaster I've made. This is Vortex, which I believe is also, I think it used to be an aero looper, and I think it got demolished, but this is, so this is Vortex, a classic aero looper. Now, if you've ever seen the old school aero loopers from like the 80s and everything, they never have any intricate designs. Then again, aero loopers never have any super crazy bends or turns. They're not like RMCs or, something like that. They have a pretty basic layout. And that's really what I try to follow here. They have the classic kind of aero support structure for the chain lift. We have, of course, some extra custom scenery with the catwalks to make them look more realistic. And then it goes into a turnaround, 180-degree turn, into a double loop, goes over into a mid-course brake run, and it goes down again, and then it ends up with these double corkscrews. Quick turnaround again, little tunnel here, and it goes up and then into the final brake run. So how about we, I'm just going to shut this down again so you guys can see the POV of Vortex. Here we go. Alright, and there you go. That is the POV of Vortex. Let's have a look at the stats. We got 630 excitement, 533 intensity, and 2.4 nausea rating. Very low. So, that is Vortex. Once again, I made a small gathering area here using the Beasties path covers to make it look a bit more interesting. And again, Moby Steel Jungle with these footers here that really give off that nice support structure, makes it look really awesome. So there you go. That is Vortex. Now, if we move up a little bit more here, we follow down this path. Oh, excuse me. First of all, we have an observation tower here. That goes pretty high, so you get a nice view of the park. And to the right, we have a mansion. This is a Dutch mansion where people can walk around if they want to. They can visit the tulip fields right here. Kind of a nice little monument, if you will, in the middle of the park. Kind of in the middle of the park. And I decided to use a different path here, just some cobblestones to make it look a bit different. And I think it looks kind of awesome. It looks a really nice centerpiece in the park, or kind of centerpiece. So there you go. That's kind of cool if you ask me. Now, if we go to the right, let's start off with Yeah, so here we had the basic flat rides and the general gathering area. Here we had the mini coaster, the flying bug, the family coaster. So over here we have another flat ride, the boat ride, also mostly for kids and families. And over here we have a big park with a lot of flower fields, a lot of tulip fields for guests if they want to chill and hang out. And if we go a bit more north, we have another small food court with fries, drinks, and burgers. We got some benches here, and also some benches here that look over this coaster right here, which is a classic Schwarzkopf looper. I'm really impressed. I'm really happy with the way this design turned out. It's supposed to be compact. It's supposed to be pretty basic in terms of layout, and I think I really nailed it. I love the green with the blue supports. It reminds me of Shockwave, of course, and I think it looks awesome. So Shockwave, let's see here, stat-wise, has 583 intensity, 429 583 excitement, 429 intensity, and 1.89 nausea rating, which is very low. So without further ado, let's have a look at the POV of Vector. And there you go. That was Vector. Really new and nice looking coaster, if I say so myself. Once again, I used Moby Steel Jungle for these awesome looking supports, and all in all, I think it turned out great. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go a little bit more to the right of the park. We have a new section here. Once again, with a small gathering area. We have a teacups ride. We have an Enterprise. We have trampoline. More importantly, though, we have, well, first of all, we also have go-karts right here, which of course are pretty popular with guests. They like it. A little bit of extra theming here to make it look a little bit more interesting, with some flower beds and some, these roofs or whatever you want to call them. But of course, the big centerpiece here is a Wild Mouse ride called Gold Rush. Again, focused around a Western theming. We got a small Western theming here to kind of spice it up a bit, makes it look a bit more interesting. So yeah, without further ado, let's check out the stats on Gold Rush. It has 3.13 excitement, 299 intensity, and 1.90 nausea rating. And let's go ahead and ride that one too. And there you go, that was Gold Rush. I thought it was a pretty classic, nice looking Wild Mouse coaster. It has those classic, quick switchbacks and then some, twisty turns and everything. It was quite a pain to actually build the custom supports because the track is much different than, let's say, an average, like a different coaster, like a corkscrew coaster or a giga coaster. So getting this down was quite finicky, but all in all, I think it looks not too bad. So there you go. Let's go ahead and go north. And we end up in this section right here. I'm going to save the best for last. We have a quick car ride here with some nice theming, some flowers, some trees and everything for, I guess, kids and the family to enjoy. And over here to the left, we have a big discus it's called Wicked Twister, I believe I call it. Yeah, Wicked Twister. We have another chair swing right here. And then we have this double spinning thing. I forgot what it's called, but I call it Vertigo. Anything here worth mentioning? No, just some food and drinks, and again some tulip fields that people can look while they are checking out this discus attraction called Wicked Twister. But of course, the big attraction here in this section is the biggest roller coaster in this entire park. It's Steel Giant, and it's a classic aero hyper coaster. It has I believe it's a 220-foot tall drop. So yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. So it goes down, it makes this steep turn, kind of inspired by the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It has a big kind of a hill here that it goes over, goes up again to this, what is it, like 45, no, like a 45 degree angle, excuse me. And it goes into this like spaghetti turnaround that most hyper coasters have. They make either like a big helix or some corners, and then they go back. And it follows the same layout kind of back here, and it enters a mid-course brake run right here. And again, all these big hills, these big hills and everything have that classic like kind of support structure you'll see on hyper coasters. It makes a few quick turns right here, and then it enters the station right here. So without further ado, let's check out the awesome view that this roller coaster gives. But before we do that, actually, let's check out the stats. 643 excitement, 523 intensity, and 225 nausea rating. So without further ado, let's ride Steel Giant. Here we go. And there you go, that was Steel Giant, probably one of my favorite roller coasters in this entire park. Took me a long while to build, also to try and nail that classic aero hyper coaster design, so I didn't want the track layout to be too complex, if you will, but I think it looks awesome. You know, the blue rails with the white supports kind of looks awesome, if you will. Let's go ahead and go to, I think, the next roller coaster. Yeah, so we have a nice wooden roller coaster over here that kind of wraps around this lake. I thought it looked pretty sweet. I'm not super happy with the way this was designed because some of the hills here are a little janky. That's unfortunate with the wooden roller coaster. You're not able to get these really smooth bunny hops, if you will, with the hyper coaster or the corkscrew coaster, which is a little bit unfortunate, but still, I think it's quite fun. So without further ado, let's check out. It's called Robin Hood. 675 excitement, 785 intensity, and 464 nausea. So without further ado, let's go ahead and ride that roller coaster. And there you go, that was Robin Hood. Not much done here in terms of custom scenery. Just a nice little wild western style house. Some fencing, some matching colors, and again, like a small gathering area here, right next to that observation tower I talked about before. Alright, and I think that is almost all of it except one roller coaster. Yeah, I think that's it. And that is probably, well, the Arrow Hyper Coaster is my favorite in the park, but this is probably one of the biggest attractions of the park, if you will. This is a B&M coaster inspired by Kumba, because it has this lift hill, and then it goes into this big turnaround here into a giant loop that actually goes, where the lift hill goes actually through this giant loop. So that's definitely inspired by Kumba. And it goes into this really cool dive loop here. So that looks awesome. And then this big turnaround here. And it goes into a mid-course brake run right there. And it turns around. And then it goes into this classic B&M layout, if you will, where you have interlocking corkscrews. The supports could be a little bit better on these corkscrews, but I'm still trying to figure out what the best would be. So for now, it's okay. Then it goes around into another helix, into a helix right here, and it goes into the brake section. And yeah, it looks awesome if you ask me. Kind of has the same color scheme as Kumba, except the supports are a bit more orange in this one. But it is awesome, and it's called Primal, I believe. Yeah, Primal. It's got 711 excitement, 598 intensity, and 287 nausea rating. So without further ado, let's ride the last ride that I want to show you guys in the park, and then we'll just wrap it up. So here is Primal. And there you go, that was Primal. And yeah, once again, I really like the layout of this the roller coaster. I love the custom supports with Moby's Steel Jungle, which allows for some really cool designs, a bit better than JCat Steelwork, which is still a really good custom scenery if you're looking to build supports and everything. But you know, Moby's Steel Jungle just takes it to another level. And yeah, that is pretty much it when it comes to this park. And hope you guys enjoyed it. I spent a good amount of time actually building this park, and I had so much fun building this and going all out. And like I said, from all the designs, because before I really only focused on just roller coasters, this time I really focused on the park. And this is probably my best creation yet. I mean, I spent a lot of time thinking about how I wanted to build the layout of this park, making it look a bit more realistic. I think the park layout in general is pretty okay. The paths might be a little bit confusing, a bit of a maze, but I think all in all it turned out amazing. And again, I'm really proud of what I made here, and I hope I was able to show you guys also the potential that Roller Coaster Tycoon has. I think Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 is, out of the three, of course, the least well received. It was the least favored by people. You know, it kind of put a bit of a sour taste in people's mouth. But you know, if you look past maybe the first introduction and some of the more clunky and janky stuff that Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 admittedly has, it also has some amazing stuff to offer. Like it's great as a park builder. You get to build some really cool rides. There's a ton of mods for the game that really transform your rides and your parks and the way they look. And yeah, so I had a ton of fun building this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. And of course the water, I don't know why, but for some reason the water kind of bugs out sometimes. But apart from that, it looks really cool. I really love the way this park looks. I hope I was able to give you guys a good impression of what it looks like and all the rides and everything. And what I've been busy building the past couple of weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to show you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not sure if I'll be back with another one because now I feel like, all right, I've really done everything I wanted to. Who knows, I'll get the itch again to play, but for now, I think this is pretty much it. So yeah, once again, that is the park. It's called New Holland. It's Dutch inspired. Tons of rides here. I think 7 coasters in total, bunch of flat rides, and of course a whole bunch of custom scenery. So there you go, guys. Thanks again for watching this video. I am Moonkin FTW, and yeah, hope you have a wonderful day.